Welcome, everyone. My name is Sandra Reimer, and I work with Tourmagination on their communication. I'm here this evening to introduce to you Shirley Redekop, who is going to be the tour leader on the Tanzania Sharing, Caring, and Safaris Women's Tour. Now, Shirley is an experienced tour leader. She has gone on tours with Tourmagination to Mexico, Hawaii, Paraguay, and I may have forgotten one, but she can tell you about that. She has also worked with MCC, and together with her husband, Fred, they lived in Thailand for 3 years. So she certainly has a lot of global experience. And she is very excited about this women's tour. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce Shirley and let her tell you more.
Hello to everybody who's here. Welcome. Yeah, I'm really excited about this tour for women because I have a real passion for women connecting around the world. And from the many places that I have gone to, I hear the stories of women, whether we have the language or not. There's connections that happen. I had connections from different places, and then as I became president of Mennonite Women Canada, I still had this dream to use from that to spread connections around the world, especially with other Christian women, and if there's Mennonite women in different places. One of the things that I really thought about getting a tour together is that we have a daughter who's with Christian Peacemaker teams in Colombia, and we visited there for 2 weeks. And I listened to the women's stories who have been put off their land illegally and the tough experiences they have had, and with others being violent to them, and they living in peace during the hardship times and how they see God working. It's a valuable experience for us to hear. Um, oh, I don't know if you can still hear me. It says the video feed was interrupted. But me, Colombia, I'm hoping problem here. Um, Women need to hear stories from other women around the world. And in this day and age, when things are, as I say, shaking beneath our feet, um, I think it's so important. And also, this tour would bring together North American women, Canadian women, and American women, which I am half and half too. I'm from Pennsylvania and moved to Canada with my husband over 25 years ago. To have those connections too, that we join together, and I'd love to see it intergenerationally, that women still continue to meet. I know a lot of women's groups aren't meeting as much, but the value of building up our Christian faith together, and women are very good at caring and sharing, are hardwired. So that's a little background of why I was wanting to try something like this with an all women's tour. And also there is some women who are gone, or they like traveling and like to travel with someone or with all women. And with that, I'd like to tell you more about this tour. Tourmagination has been to Tanzania for a good chance to for my idea to drop into Tanzania because they have a lot of connections with the women there already and some neat connections. And for the first tour to try this would be a great place to go. But that doesn't mean we won't go more places then later. Um, so I'm not sure if all of you have seen the itinerary. And so I want to just give you a little bit of an idea that when we all gather together, arrive in Kilimanjaro and meet at our hotel and settle in and get to know each other. And I hope to that we have some time to share right in the beginning so we can connect with each other. Um, and hear some stories about ourselves and who we are. And then the next 2 days, we will meet together with the Tanzanian women, the Mennonite women, and later you'll get to hear Esther, who will meet us there with a group of women and others, and we will be together. We'll share together there, pray together, and just get to know each other and connect that way too, and what we can bring back to other places, to our places of home and our groups, since we're from all over. We'll also go to a community library that was started by a Canadian Mennonite woman, Monica. She's actually married to a Tanzanian now, and she was adopted by a Maasai family. And so we will join in with them there and do some work with the women there. There's a possibility that we're looking into doing some cooking together, maybe gardening together or beading together. And hopefully that will continue to come together, and I'm sure it will. Some of the other neat things will also, of course, go on safaris, which is really exciting to see the animals and an all-day safari and get some great pictures and have great tour guides for that too. We will also go to some other villages and a national park. I don't want to go give you day to day necessarily, and if you have some questions later, you can ask a bit more. And another highlight is going to be a meeting at the St. Catherine Monastery, and this is where the nuns and the Christians there are contributing to the solutions for local people in need. And they work in a school there. I know the tour before had taken a lot of some school supplies. We're going to look into how we can support the places too, and maybe some things we can bring along that will make some connections that way and spend some time with them too. The nuns are cloistered, but they will meet with at least one of the nuns who will take us around, and we will spend one night in the monastery. It'll be as a monastery and quite sparse, but it's very clean and taken care of, and it's a lovely place. So that is some of the things that we will be doing that I'm really excited about. But I want to give Esther some time, and I want to introduce Esther to you too. I have chatted with Esther, and we've connected already. She's now living in Elkhart because she's going to school there towards a Master's of Art in Christian Formation at Anabaptist Mennonite Biblical Seminary. But she grew up in Tanzania, and her husband is a bishop there. And they have 4 children. And she's a nurse by profession, but she's been working for 10 years as director of the Grace and Healing Ministry in Dodoma under the Tanzania Mennonite Church. And she supervises health teams that deal with people living with HIV and AIDS and the most vulnerable children in the community. And she gives counseling and guidance. So she will be a wealth of information. I really look forward to talking with her more too, and hearing more, and she will be a wealth of information for where we are and about Tanzania. So I would like to have Esther give you some more information and some of the excitement that the women are having already in Tanzania and beginning to pray for this tour. And some of the things that they will see, or why they're excited for us to come to. So, Esther, I'll let you give some of that information. Oh, and
Oh,
go ahead.
thank you so much, Rory. Can you see me now?
I can't because mine's on
Okay,
the big
maybe.
one.
Maybe people can hear me or can see me. I have already shared my computer. Okay, I should. Oh, yeah, that way.
There. There you are.
Thank you for arranging this and for making it possible for me to join through webinar. I'm so excited, and I'm inviting you all to my country, Tanzania. For those who have already visited, they can bear witness. It's a very peaceful country, and people are so welcoming, and everyone is so friendly. So I want to assure you that you will be very safe, no worry. And the other thing is just to let you know that people of Mennonite Church are praying for you, and everyone is so excited to meet you. And women of Tanzania, Mennonite Church, they will be gathering from 3rd and 4th. They will be having seminar, and 5th, they are excited to meet you. So on Sunday, just get ready to have lunch with with us at our Mennonite Church Center. And women have a good program for you. So the most exciting moment is to get to know each other, get into contact, knowing, sharing our story, and hearing from you will be such a blessing to Mennonite Church in Tanzania. You will hear what we are doing, and you will see what women are doing. So I talked to the leader of the women there who is planning this meeting, and she sent me a timetable for you. I remember I sent it to Emily, that you will have lunch with us on Sunday after the church, and then we shall have good time, formal 1 hour to talk, like sharing experience from Mennonite women in Canada, sharing experience as women. We share a lot of similarities and our faith, and praying together. That will be an exciting moment for the women of Mennonite Church in Tanzania. And you will also learn how women in Mennonite Church do the village community bank, and they will get to share with you their stories on how they started, on how they are doing and what they are doing. You will see the art, the craft at what they are doing, and maybe you can have something. I don't know, I cannot promise, but what I know is that women are ready to wait for you. And they will share with you the vision that Mennonite Church in Tanzania have for the Vision 2034. We will also need to know what you are interested for and what you want to know from us. So if there is anything that you need, we'll be ready to explain, and we will be there for you. You'll also get to know how we are doing our ministry, prayer ministry, through Sister Care Ministry. I happen to know this Ministry of Mennonite Women USA when I met my friend Rhoda Kina at Eastern Mennonite University when I came. First, we met when I came for the Mennonite World Conference. That's when I got the book of Sister Care, and I talked about it with her, and we had our first lunch meeting. And then when I went back home, I introduced it to the women. I am the bishop's wife. So as a bishop's wife, I have that respect for the women. So we introduced it, and women were so excited, and they were so blessed about it, mostly for sharing our story. we have a lot of story, and most of the time we don't talk about it. So during sister care, that is the time that we talk about our story. We share the timeline, we share what we are going through, and we pray for one another. And so we have a lot of heritages in Mennonite. So I just want to encourage you, it's not only animal, not only the safari, or not only Mount Kilimanjaro, but you'll have friends who will love you, who will pray for you, who will share with you. And women are planning to have after the visiting from activities that will be on Monday. We will have lunch together, and they will pray for your tour, to dedicate it to the Lord. And I have also communicated with Sharon. Sharon is the country representative of MCC Tanzania, and she's also from Canada. She's so excited to meet you. So she's welcoming you, and I've already written to Emily to share on what she says. So just get ready to come and share our story as women of God, and praying together. We have a lot of similarities. I can pause here. If there's any question, I am ready to share. Hello?
Okay, so I think what we'll do now is put up the photos. Do you want to show some of the photos, Shirley?
Yes, I was looking for the PowerPoint. So are you able to put them up?
Yep, I'll load that up, and then right after you've showed some of the photos and talked a little bit about it, we'll go into a question time with Shirley and Esther. And if you would like to ask a question of either one of them, you'll notice at the top of your screen that there's a spot or it says attendee chat, and you can type at the bottom of your screen your question. If you type your questions in there, we'll read them and the ladies will answer them.
And Sandra, I'm just going to ask you, there was a bit of time in mine that it seemed to have cut out. Were you able to hear what I was talking about how the tour came about and connecting?
Yes, we did lose a little bit of that, but we heard most of it.
Okay.
But yeah, if you just want to run through the slides, and if you want to refresh anything or say anything else, that's great.
Yeah, I'll just go through that, and then as our participants are there, they can write their questions too, as I'll go through some of the pictures, the short PowerPoint. So yes, Tanzanian Caring, Sharing, and Safari Tour, August 4th to the 13th, so 9 days. I talked about, I guess I did, women in Colombia. I did talk about the women in Colombia. So this is a picture of us. Our daughter is next to my husband in the blue hat, and we were out with this family. Now, since we were there, their farm was taken over by a powerful, wealthy man illegally. So they lost all their crops and everything, and their little farm house out on their land was torn apart. I've seen videos of it. What a wonderful woman, wonderful, powerful woman of faith, and just so welcoming there when they were going through some really hard times. And the other woman was at a hotel we were at. We just had some connection. We couldn't speak the language, but there was something there that we cared, and we just knew it. The spirit, just how it moves, is quite fast, is amazing. I have a great story of that. I don't want to take all the time though, but and so that's how we will connect in ways and grow in those ways and change. We'll be changed people coming back. I know that in many ways. So yeah, we'll unite with women from across Canada and the U.S. and be in Tanzania and connect with Maasai women and And here's the nun. That's Audrey, who owns Tourmagination. She's been there before and spent time with women from the local Mennonite congregation and other women that come there from other areas. Here's the library in the Maasai area. So we'll visit with children and adults at this library that this Canadian woman did start there and who is now married to a Tanzanian. And then we'll also have the game drives to see some animals and do several bits of that. And I look forward to that. We always see pictures, and just to see such close-ups will be so exciting. And Esther, we shared with Esther already, and I look forward to getting to know her better too. So we look forward to traveling with you. I hope have others who want to join you. We want to go with, if possible, intergenerational. Bring your daughters, bring your nieces, your grandmas, and that we can get a good group of women to share and care around the world.
That's great. We have our first question, ladies. Susan is asking, will there be interpreters available when they meet the women from Tanzania?
Yes. Some women knows English very well, and I'm also an interpreter, so I can interpret for them when we are talking informal, when we are informal meeting. And during informal conversation, there will be women who knows and they can speak good English, or sometimes can be broken, but we can understand each other.
That's great. And Shirley, you had an email from someone wondering about inoculations needed.
Yes.
Do you have any comments about that?
I did just check on that with the staff, and there's none that are really exactly that you have to have, but it'd be really good to go to a medical travel place to check up on what you should get caught up on maybe, or what they think for that area, and then you can make that decision if you feel you want to do those inoculations or not.
That's great.
And someone
Does
else,
anyone else have? Sorry, someone else had a question there.
No, that was me. I was just going to say someone was asking me about the weather, if it's going to be really hot, but no, it's moderate. I actually was talking to Esther too, and it can get, you even might need sweaters at that time, and there'll probably not be much rain, and it's a very moderate climate at that time.
Great. Any other comments about the weather, Esther?
Actually, it's unpredictable now. Sometimes it can be raining and sometimes it can be warm, but always Arusha is cool. If I compare with cold in Canada and America, Arusha is very cool and it's warm, not very cold and not very hot.
Okay, good. We have some more questions here. There's a question about how large is the group going to be, the tour group going to be?
At this point, I think we're about at 9 people, but so we're hoping, I think a good average group would be like 15 to 20 is what we're looking at for this one. And so to make it large enough that we can meet with many different people, but also time that we can share and with each other more personally that way too. So we're hoping for around between 15 and 20 is probably what the larger side would be.
Okay. And someone is asking if there's a dress code. Esther, maybe you can comment on that. What would be
actually, it doesn't matter because Arusha is a tourist city and everyone knows that we have culture diversity. But in most of women in African culture, they prefer dressing well when we are going to church. It's an official. And it's just a tradition, a church tradition. When we go before God, we go presentable. So I know women knows how to dress well. So even if you put on your trouser, it should be very smart. No problem. I have no problem with women.
That sounds good. Any other questions from attendees? Anybody, any other burning questions you're wondering about, got to know about? Esther and Shirley, do you have any other comments, questions you want to?
I had thought of something just a bit ago, but go ahead.
When is the deadline for registration? I would have to check on that, but you've still got time to sign up. The tour is in August, but it's good not to wait too long because flights need to be booked and you need to make sure you got all your ducks in a row. So
that's what I wanted to say. For those who have registered, and when you do register, you'll get a little packet of a travel information that's specific for this Tanzania tour, which gives a lot of that information about you will need to buy a visa when you get there into the country. And it gives information about credit cards, ATMs, and money, and language communication, and clothes, and all that. So when you register, you will get a lot of that information too. But you can still, the staff will be glad to answer any questions you have, and would connect and find out those answers.
Great.
Well, I have no more addition, but I just want to thank the group. I am feeling now I'm part of you, and I'm so excited to be joining you. I know I still need to think and pray about joining you for the tour. And as we talked with the Shori, I said we still have more time, and probably God can provide a door and for me to join you for the tour. I needed to know the company of the local guide who is taking you there through the safaris, because for the Tanzanian citizenship, it's cheap compared to the foreigner. So I may, if I can know, I may communicate with them and know how much it costs. If it's manageable, I can still manage to continue with you, because I will still have more time in Tanzania until the end of August. So let's pray together and continue to trust God that God who made it possible for me to join you will keep us in touch, and we shall be together. Yeah, I trust that.
Yeah, I want to say too, we're also going to have fun and laughs and just some great times together in that way too, as we get to know each other better. So we'll have the times of prayer and being together, but we'll also have just times of fun and laughter. I'm sure we will, because Esther and I already have been laughing together with things.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah. We have one more question that's just come in about a recommendation about airline to use to get to Kilimanjaro. And we can connect with you behind the scenes about that. Liz, we have a partner who does airline booking, Bonaventure Travel, and they would be happy to make arrangements for you to get to Tanzania. Individually, that's a good way to do it. They'll know the best airline to take. So we've got 1 minute left. Any other questions before we close off the webinar? Oh, great. Thank you all so much for joining us. Esther, Shirley, we really appreciate you making time to tell us about this tour, and all the best. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Hope to see you soon, all of you. Bye-bye.
Hope to see you soon. Wow.